welcome to the podcast, Falcon Paladin.
Hello, Somicron. Good to see you on the podcast as well. Happy podcast day. Hope it's been a good one for you. I saw we did some Rogue Trader earlier.
We did, and then I went and took a nap on the couch, and just felt kind of tired all day.
Excellent.
No, not not really.
I mean,
It was not the fun
bad.
kind of tired where I could just actually go and take a proper nap. It's like I laid on the couch for 2 hours, being like, everything sucks.
Yeah, not as fun then. Definitely not.
Yeah,
Gross.
pretty much.
Well, got some rest anyway, I suppose.
That is the bright side, I suppose. You want to be a silver lining kind of person? Sure.
I do like silver linings. I feel like I'm an optimist most of the time, so yes.
Well, fair enough. Can't argue with that.
Good deal. All right. So we got some Warhammer to talk about here. We can kind of discuss what's going on with the U.S. and Israel and Iran a little bit if we want.
You can if you want. We talked a little bit about it on Rogue Trader.
We did.
I have not found any new information since then.
Right. So one thing that my chat brought up earlier was that Israel and the United States are kind of united in their desire that Iran not get the nuclear bomb, right? And like Obama was working on like an agreement with Iran so that they wouldn't make the nuclear bomb and stuff back when he was president, et cetera, et cetera. So, so I think maybe some of the motivation is that the bombings are like kind of setting back Iran's ability to make nukes. I don't know if they're actually working on it, right? But maybe that's some of the motivation. So that's maybe another reason for doing this.
No, but we already knew that because the targeted strikes they did last year were on the enrichment facilities.
Yes, correct.
That was meant to cripple them with like the technology that they would need, or at least slow them down. But targeting just like leaders, well, I suppose it can be like a leadership-driven thing. Yeah, actually, I lied. I did find some new information, which was it's not really strictly relevant, but it was that France was deciding to step up their nuclear arsenal, like their weapon, like their stockpile. I was going to call it livestock, but no, stockpile. And they were offering
They're increasing the number of cows they have.
Yeah. They were offering other allied countries the ability to host the weapons for times if they want them, so that they'll be in there, they can be stored in other places.
Interesting. Okay.
And so the point was that, like, well, we just saw theoretically some strikes about making sure people in the Middle East don't have nuclear weapons, but France gets to say they want nukes, and everyone just goes, okay.
Correct, because they already have them.
Yeah.
We've talked about this,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
Once you have the nukes, no one can take them from you because they're afraid they're going to nuke you. So if France has them. If Iran got the nuke, then no one can take them away from Iran. So...
Well, I mean, sort of. If they
have... Not without worried about getting nuked, you can't.
Well, if they've only got one, right? And having a nuke is not strictly the same as having an ICBM, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Having a nuke and no delivery method is a problem. All right. What's
but
Iran's
delivery
missile
methods like it's 1,000 times easier than making a nuke. ICBM is put fuel in rocket, give it power, bam, done. It's not nearly as hard.
I can't believe it took NASA so long to get people to the moon. Wow, so easy. I'm just saying that like we've seen North Korea.
You understand the difference, right? You're not that stupid,
right? But like, North Korea has been trying to make ICBMs for ages, and it's like, oh wow, they got a missile across Japan, a country that's relatively close. That's not intercontinental though, and it's taking them a long time because rocket science has been a catch-all word for really complicated science forever. You know?
I just don't think it's that hard. They can launch rockets at Israel consistently and hit Israel,
How far away
which
is
again
Iran
is
from
probably what
Israel?
they would do. Tehran
I
to...
did hear a couple of months ago that Tehran is basically out of water. So that's
That's not fun.
yeah.
It's 2,000 kilometers from Tehran to Israel.
So not terribly far.
Nope. But again, that's what they would do. Like, if Iran got the nuke and America and Israel were like, uh-oh, can't let them have the nuke, we better go take it from them, they'd be worried about Iran nuking Israel. That's the concern. It's not about nuking America. That's a secondary concern. But nuking Israel would be enough for both America and Israel to be like, all right, that's a huge risk, you know?
Suppose.
Yeah,
I
that's all I'm
just
saying.
there was language in the French announcement to increase their stockpile, which was it will be so vast that no nation could ever recover, and it would be enough to like decimate any nation. Like it was worded very like it'd be useful against any nation, right? Hint, hint. People attacking NATO or its allies, and it's like we're doing this to fill a specific power vacuum that someone has just pulled out of to leave. And it's like, yes, France already has some, but having enough that no nation would be able to recover after their deployment is.
That's Russia-America stuff. That's
Mhm.
Russia-America territory that only they have been in ever since the Cold War, right?
Right. So the statement is, well, we could use this against America if we had to. We don't want to, but that's why we're
Yeah,
doing it, and nobody cares.
right.
So it's like it's now okay. Iran and Israel is Israel's problem, and America cares because it's Israel's friend. But
Yep.
France is doing a thing that would be potentially against America, and America doesn't care.
Yeah,
Or
because
at
we
least at
can't
the
do
moment.
anything about it. I think I said that already. But once somebody has nukes, you can't go to them and say, you can't have nukes, because they'll say, fuck you, take them from us. And then if you try, you get nuked. So that's why nobody cares. What are we going to do about it? Run around like chickens with their heads cut off? Oh no, France has more nukes now. You can't do jack about it. Might as well move on with your life.
Can't do absolutely anything. You can't raise tariffs against them.
No,
You can't do trade deals. You
we're
can't.
already tariffing
You
them.
can't do more.
We're tariffing
Like
the whole world.
I'm not suggesting that if they have nukes, you can't do anything because they'll just use their nukes, right? Like, lots of countries have nukes, and America still tries to do stuff to them all the time in other ways that isn't just like threatening to nuke them back because they use nukes, right? The entire
Yeah.
France and America
Wait.
have not left each other alone politically for like the last 80 years just because America and France have nukes, right?
Oh, what do you mean leave each other alone?
I mean, they haven't been isolationist, removed from each other's spheres because it's like, well, if they ask us to do anything, we'll just go, fuck you, we have nukes.
No. What did I say? I
You,
said if someone comes for your nukes, you say fuck you, we have nukes. I didn't say do anything. Don't put
right,
words in my mouth.
but you're saying if they come for your nuke, like,
Yeah.
as in
If
there's
they come
only
for your
one path to that where they come with guns and say, give us your nukes. You can't
Okay,
try to
so
disable them in any other method.
So share an example with me of America saying, "Oh, Pakistan has nukes. We would like them to get rid of their nukes. We're going to do this." What is it?
I'm not saying something specific like that. Like, but
You said it's happening. You claimed it's
I
happening.
didn't say it's happening. I said it could happen. Right? These are things that we could. Like I'm saying, if we care.
Rewind the tape.
I didn't say it was happening. But also, if you want an example, you can like America still went into Pakistan to get Osama bin Laden, even though they had nukes. They were like,
Yeah.
we're giving you no notice. We're doing a military operation, regardless of the threat to you nuking us back.
Yeah, because you know what? We didn't say we're coming for your nukes. How hard is this to understand, Somicron? Why are you continuing to make this point?
Well,
You
I
keep
just don't.
believing
I
we
just
can't
don't.
do anything to anybody else if they have nukes. That is not how this works. If we
I
go for their nukes, they will try to nuke us back. That's all I'm
so,
saying.
so you're saying that you could enter a ground war with Pakistan and be like, well, as long as we don't say we go anything about the nukes, they won't use them, right?
Okay. coming for the nukes or trying to conquer you entirely as a country. Right. Those two things. Fine.
So you
You
don't
have
think you
that
could,
one as well.
right? But like, you can't. I feel like I can't know the will of other nations, and if I hear, oh, America launched a military strike into another country that has nukes, I'm not like, well, thank God they didn't mention the nukes, otherwise there'd be potential repercussions of nuclear warfare. I go, well,
Okay.
that seems like a problem.
Okay, well, name a time we've done that.
When you went
You're
into
just talking. You're talking
Pakistan,
about Bin Laden. Yeah, but they were like, "Thank you for getting rid of Bin Laden. We didn't want him here." So that's what that is.
right? It was
If the
also like
country was like,
we went and killed an 80-year-old on dialysis. I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, and he's like a symbol of an entirely different belief system that Pakistan doesn't give a shit about. So
Right. But like,
yeah,
okay, if America said, "Hey, let's go and attack Greenland because we want Greenland. Greenland's ours, and Greenland's with
yeah,
NATO and hosting France nukes," just because
yes,
you're not saying we're coming for France's nukes doesn't mean they might not use them.
what did I say?
You're saying
Tell me what I
if you
just
come
said.
for the
What are the
nukes, then they'll only use the nukes if you say you're coming for nukes.
what did I also amend that as 30 seconds ago, Somicron?
That if
There's
you go,
one reason. That's one reason. What's the other one?
total takeover of their sovereign
Thank
land.
you.
But Greenland isn't total takeover of, like, is it Norway? Like, I didn't say invade Norway. I said take a territory of Norway. That's not like how small of a part of land before you go. A nation couldn't possibly get. Like, if America came to Tasmania, the smallest tiny little island off the bottom of Australia, and said, well,
Yeah.
if Australia just doesn't have nukes, but like, let's say we did, and was like, well, no, you took Tasmania, we're gonna nuke you. You're just gonna be like, yeah, but it's just Tasmania. Why would you bother? Right? Can you say that for 100% certainty that with every other geopolitical nation on the planet, that's always going to be the case? That you're like, well, we just did this one tiny little operation in the South Island of New Zealand. What's the rest of New Zealand worried about? You know?
I'm just saying, find me an example of America taking land from a nation that has nukes and what happened. Because I don't think we do that. I think we screw around with countries that don't have nukes all the time. But once you're in that club, we're like, I don't know, man. Too risky.
Maybe. But like, my concern is not born out of things that they have definitely done. It's the increased appearance of a destabilized country with nukes doing things to other supposed allied nations who have them. You know? Like, my fear here is not based on, like, things they have done. It's things that could happen, you know? And just being like, well, we've never done it before is not quite good enough to, like, ease my tensions here.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, if you want to be concerned about potential futures that do not have any basis in what's happened over the last 60 years of nukes existing in the world, then that's fine.
Absolutely no basis, yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, okay, how about a reverse example? Japan attacked a country with nukes. Well, they didn't have them at the time, but then they got nuked in response. So, like, if someone else came for you to attack America just because, like, they wanted to drive some planes into a building, right? Because they lack a fundamental military force, and so hijacking civilian operations was the alternative response. Would America be justified using its nukes in return? Like, is that never going to be no?
No, the reason we nuked Japan is because we were like, what the fuck happens when we nuke a city? I don't know. Let's try it on Japan.
Well,
that's why they got nuked. It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't a direct response to Pearl Harbor.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And like, I feel like they knew what would happen to a city. They still wanted to knock an enemy country out of a war, right? I feel like the boffins back in the lab could have figured it out. You know, like, well, we have a large bomb. What happens if we put a large bomb near a place? You know?
No, but what does it do? Like, they couldn't. They couldn't test that. They couldn't test what happened to millions of people exposed to a nuclear bomb explosion. So they didn't know. They had a good idea, but they didn't know.
Yeah, I suppose.
And the other thing is that, again, the American justification for the nukes partially was, hey, Japan, you should surrender. And Japan's like, fuck you. And they're like, okay, like, we can spend the next several months going island to island trying to clear all the Japanese military off of this thing. Or
Mm-hmm.
We can hit them with an incredibly powerful bomb that no one's ever seen before and force them to surrender that way. And that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Again, whether or not that was the actual motivation or whether they just wanted to nuke a couple cities, I don't know. That's what they say.
Right.
Multiple reasoning for it. Anyway, point is, going back to the topic at hand, if you have nukes, you're pretty safe from total takeover. If not entirely so. Again, in the future, here's the thing. Any country that's gonna like, hey, we should invade and conquer this country that has nukes, they're gonna investigate the possibility of, can we disable all of their nukes before they realize what's happening, right? If it's a smaller country and they don't have many of them, and you can infiltrate it and spy on it and figure out where they are and disable them in time, then maybe you can more conventionally invade them.
Maybe. Do you think they would look at somebody like North Korea and be like, well, we've really got to get in and free those North Koreans from the awful situation that they're living in? And they go, they don't have that many. And they're pretty much all in North Korea. And they don't really have a great way to get them anywhere important to us, right? Obviously important to the people that, wherever they get deployed, right? That's pretty important to them.
Yes.
But you could see someone just making the rationale of like, well, if they nuke themselves, that's their problem. We'll just leave, right? And if they can't hit us, or they can only hit us a tiny little bit, do we even need to bother? Could we not just go in conventionally? Right? And I don't think North Korea is being protected by the fact that it has nukes. I think it's being protected because China does not want a friendly U.S. nation directly on its border, which South Korea is, and propping up North Korea, it keeps a buffer there, right?
Yep, sure does.
I think North Korea is being protected more by a series of economics and political reasons more than it is the technological ones.
Sure, it's complicated. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a discussion I didn't really think I was going to have. I'm so glad I had a chance to prepare for it.
Who needs to prepare when talking about geopolitical events?
No,
Not anyone.
I'll just give my off-the-top-cuff opinions. I'm sure when I listen back to this later, I won't go, no, of course you're an idiot, Omicron. Shut the fuck up. He's right.
Just don't
Why
listen back to it later. Only look forward.
100% the reason this podcast went live and stopped getting edited in the audio.
Right, exactly.
Got tired of listening to myself be an idiot and be like, I get the point you're making, but you're not explaining it right.
Oh no, yeah, that's not fun. Remind me never to do that.
Yeah.
Anywho, so what's the point here? Maybe Iran was working on nukes, and that's part of the reason for attacking them. I don't know. Again, I feel like if the U.S.'s plan was to occupy Iran like they did with Iraq and Afghanistan, they would say so. They'd be like, we're planning on liberating the people from blah, 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 blah. We're going to put boots on the ground. We're going to hold it, and we're going to install democracy, right? But we're not even saying that, so I don't know what the deal is.
If I had to leverage a guess, it would be that a series of actions, like military actions, like a couple of missile strikes or whatever, is something in the president's wheelhouse that he can just do. But declaring we're going to go in there and free those people and have a little occupation and set up a democracy, that's a declaration of war that Congress needs to approve, and they won't do that. So that's my guess.
So, all right. So at this point, I think what this leaves us at is, my understanding is, we bomb Tehran, we kill the existing leadership, and then, like, CIA agents and Mossad agents are, like, trying to steer the country into a new leader who's more friendly to Israel and the United States and get them in there. That's, like, the best outcome without actually having to put boots on the ground.
I guess.
Man, that'd be crazy, though. That'd be nuts. Like, the new supreme leader of Iran shows up and he's like, what's up, everyone? I'm here. I'm new. And Israel's cool now. Like, I don't know that his people would be like, this seems like some major sea change. You know what I mean?
Right. I'd like to see your receipts, please.
Yeah. Where do you get off, sir, is what they would say. So I don't... maybe someone who's just I don't even know, man. I don't know how this is going to end up, but you can't institute a draft. And like you said, I don't think you can put boots on the ground.
Mm.
So I think it's just we bomb a bunch of stuff in Iran and kill a bunch of people and then go home and hope the result is
Yeah,
better than it was, because that's how that works.
killing people in the Middle East has always gone well historically.
Right. Right. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm agreeing. Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Fuck me for trying to undercut it with some levity.
Yeah. Or sarcasm at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And again, it really just does feel like this is a distraction. Trump's like, please stop talking about the Epstein files. Those are over. Look, we bombed Iran. Talk about that instead.
Right.
Yeah.
What
Which is
just
generally working, I think.
I mean, maybe.
But
yeah.
again, if we just go home in a week, then everyone forgets about it and we're back on the Epstein files. Like, it doesn't solve anything for him.
Yeah, I mean, we're assuming at that point he doesn't have a new distraction, a new bauble to throw at the people. Like this week it's
Yeah, that's
Tehran, next week it's Azerbaijan. Who knows? You know.
Yeah. Or like, what was the state? Kansas, I think, was like, hey, if you're trans, your driver's license is now invalid.
Oh,
You have to get a new one, which
wow.
was fun. Yeah, that happened.
Did they do that for fun or just because they were like, hey, you can get a new one and it'll have your updated gender on it? You know.
Well, from what I understand, they'd already been doing that. Like,
Okay.
some people on the news were like, I'm transgender. I live in Kansas. I had my driver's license updated and changed with my new gender when I transitioned. And now they're saying I need something else. So I don't know, man. Something weird's going on there.
Yeah.
Some people are like, so they can't vote in the election. And it's like, one,
Mm.
trans people are like 0.01% of the state. They're not flipping anything. Two, the election's in November. Like, you don't take away their driver's licenses in March if you want them to not be able to vote in November. Take it away in October. Take it away in November. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's the motivation here. I don't know what it is.
All like I know the like federal election and the midterms are in November, like that's always. But are
Yeah.
there like local or state elections that might happen at different times?
No.
Just give me like Utah, what you know. Is there any elections not in November from your experience? Like,
No, it's always November. It's
Always.
always vote for mayor, vote for senator, vote for congressperson, vote for city council members. It's all on the same ballot. Yeah. Maybe Kansas does it different though. Like maybe they totally have elections in March. For something.
maybe, or like the cynical version is like they just wanted to revoke all these people's driver's licenses from being valid, and then like suddenly every time they get pulled over and need to hand over their license, it's like, oh, you're driving with an invalid license, and it's just like an easy reason to discriminate.
Yeah. So it's just like give the cops a reason to harass trans people, I guess, which is gross, but I don't understand. Like, is there a long-term plan here? Again, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Anywho, I saw a great thing. It was on the amount of trans people. It was like, it was something that like 1% of all trans people experience like regret over transitioning, right? Like the idea that people regret it is very, very low, right?
Right.
And it was somebody basically being like 1% of like all these people is still like hundreds of thousands of people. I can't remember. This was weeks ago, and he just like triggered a memory, and I'm not going to explain it well. But it was like it's 1% of trans people, and then like but 1% of all Americans. That's still 30 million people or something, right? They just gotten the numbers wrong, and it was very funny watching them try to be like 30 million people are regretting transitioning. And I'm like, that's not how that number works.
There is no way that many people have transitioned. Correct. Yeah. Good times. Good times in our country.
Yeah. When I was out for dinner like a couple months ago for my brother getting engaged, his partner told me she made the same kind of mistake, which is she just got the numbers wrong. Which she said,
Yeah.
like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk has so much money, like that you could give everyone $1 million, and he'd still have money left over. And it's the same issue where like it happened a couple years ago when someone was running for president out of New York. I don't remember who it is, but a news organization ran the same kind of story where it's like this guy spent $253 million on advertising for his presidential campaign and didn't get nominated. If he could have given everyone $1 million and had money left over.
Right.
It's that kind of math where it's like, well, if you take the actual
Yeah.
number and divide it properly, you don't use million like it's a currency, like where they just drop the word million. 300 divided by 300 is 1, so 1 add the million. Right.
Right. Right. If you don't understand basic math, maybe
No.
don't try to talk about math in your news story.
Right. Well, yeah, it's a mistake lots of people make apparently, but it's still very funny too. It's like I did the actual math. It's like Elon Musk, even though he has $1 trillion or whatever, or has got that new pay package announced, he could give everyone $1.25. You know?
Right. Right. Yeah. That's usually how those things work out.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, it's one thing if rando on Twitter can't do the math. That's fine. I see that for sure. But if you are a news organization and a trained reporter and you're reporting facts, you need to get that right. I'm sorry. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's almost like 24-hour news cycles push people to report on things before they've had a time to sit down and think about it. Wow. What a terrible system that might be.
Definitely can affect that. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, should we go to a happy place where the world isn't quite so bad?
Freerin, maybe? Is Freerin a happy place?
Favorite is a happy place, and there was a new episode, but it's not where I was going, and you know it.
I know, but I was like, Warhammer's not happy. Sentenced to be a Hero's not happy. Freerin? Does Freerin count? That's how my brain went.
Freeren's happy, yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, there's like demons running around eating people all the time.
Right. Right. Like wiping out entire villages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did get a new episode this week, and it just like ran right through me. I don't remember anything that happened. I know there was like they were in a church and they were like, "Oh, there's so much blood loss coming out of this one guy. I thought you were a demon." And then they like planned to go do some stuff about demons, and then I mean, it was very emotional in the moment. I'm sure I'll remember it when I watch it again and be like, "Oh, yeah, okay, it's a good exploration of how angry people can be." And like driven to get revenge, and even though he's hiding behind this stoicism of like, I only lived here for a little bit, this place means nothing to me, and then he's like remembering that this is the baker's son and he makes terrible bread, and I'm gonna give him comfort in his final moments. See, it's coming back. I'm remembering.
Yeah, and like we were friends, like that hurts. Yeah.
And the terrible bread that they're eating. I love the like clunk sound that it makes every time they touch it.
Seriously. Like even who said Ferns? Like I don't think bread's supposed to sound like this.
No.
Or is it Method? I think Method maybe says that. Anyway, point is, yeah, they're eating freaking. Rock bread.
It's I do know what the kind of bread this is. It's hard.
I assume it's kind of like
it's
hardtack.
It's exactly hardtack. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the concept of it's got nutrients and fiber and stuff in there, and
Very low moisture.
it'll keep you alive, but by golly, you're not going to have a good time with it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, they have no moisture in them, so they don't overgrow mold.
Right. They last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like lembas bread from the Lord of the Rings, except tasting terrible and more like a rock than bread.
And it's not wrapped in a leaf.
No. Maybe if they lapped it in a leaf, it would taste better.
You think leaves make food taste good?
It'd be worth a shot. This tastes entirely horrendous, so can't really hurt it.
Yeah, as far as.
Although Fern's always happy when she's eating it. Like every time they're eating, Fern's like smiling. It's weird. Fern's a weird person.
She just likes food, I guess.
I guess, no matter what it is. Anywho's. Yeah. And I don't know. I think it was just kind of cool to get back a little bit to the, oh, right, demons are a major threat. Oh, right, there are other mages running around trying to deal with this threat, too. Because Fearin sometimes is like, we're going to spend a lot of episodes just like wandering around and retrieving swords from a random demon and, you know, fighting monsters that don't necessarily have to do with the larger threat. And so just like sit down and be like, oh, right, here's the world we live in. This is the danger. This is what's happening. Villages are getting wiped off of the map. It's affecting people. There are very powerful mages running around trying to stop it from happening, but they're too late, it seems like, most of the time, and it's not a good thing. Yeah.
I'm very interested in how, like, Freeman's like, wow, these knights here are, like, way stronger than Stark is.
Yeah.
And, like, they introduced Stark by having him kill a dragon. And I feel like either dragons are way weaker than I think they are. Or ever, like, getting to that level is not difficult, you know?
Right. Maybe they are. Maybe the dragon that Stark fought was just, you know, big name, but didn't really back it up.
Yeah, maybe. He just terrorized an entire town for 3 years by itself. Yeah.
Right. I don't know, man. It'd kind of help if Stark looked more impressive, because he just looks like a dude.
Sure. Yeah. With a giant battle axe, but yeah.
Right.
That he wields like one
and
hand.
then in battle, he can like jump 300 feet in the air, and he can like strike with the power of 4,000 TNT bundles, and you know,
right.
Like he's got all this power. You just don't visually see it at all.
Yeah.
He needs muscles, is what I'm saying.
He needs to take his shirt off. Okay.
Might help. I don't know. Because like Fern and Freerin can look normal and be powerful because it's magic. Magic has nothing to do with physical strength, really. That's all.
I keep getting the same YouTube short when I'm like doom scrolling before bed, and it's a scene from the Mage Trials where Denkin like takes off his jacket and goes to like punch up someone, but the music is like, no one should have all that power, and then the caption is like, when the D&D wizard takes 2 levels of fighter, because he's a little wizard dude, and he goes like, well, I'm out of spells, but you know, time to fight in the mud, you know.
Right, like no one expects the old dude wizard to be able to knock you out with one punch to the jaw. It really comes in handy. Yeah, absolutely. And you should do that. Like if you're entirely reliant on magic in a very dangerous world, you should also learn how to fight and be physically strong, because you never know when you run out of spell slots, man. Have some bricks you can throw at people at the very least.
Have some bricks.
I cast brick throw.
He's throwing their bread at them.
Yeah, that actually would probably do some damage for sure. Yeah, but definitely a part 1 of a part 2 story on that one. So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Got to set it up.
I want to complain about Crunchyroll for a hot second. It's going to be real quick.
You may.
So I've been rewatching Machine, Too Many Losing Heroes.
Yeah.
It's good. It's still fun.
It's good.
It reminded me of another show, because they got to like their culture festival with like at the end of the season, it's like, oh, we're having a festival, right? And that reminded me of another show, and I really wanted to go and watch it because I love this show. And if you and your daughter ever want to sit down and watch something, it's totally for everyone. It's called Hyoko. Don't look up what the name means because it will spoil things. It's a high school like mystery detective show.
Okay.
It's really good, and so I went to Crunchyroll to watch it again for like probably the 5th time. And Crunchyroll just doesn't have it in Japanese anymore. It's only in English.
Lame.
Unless I VPN to America. And then it's in Japanese.
What?
Yeah.
So they have it? They're just withholding it from Australians?
Uh-huh.
That's really weird. Huh.
Yeah. So I have to remember to turn my VPN on if I want to go watch this show. But
I wonder what other things are like that. That's crazy.
I would have to troll their catalog for everything and take notes and test them. Yeah. I'm not gonna do that.
But you've never seen it before, is what you're saying.
No. I've never seen
Yeah.
that before. No.
Right. That's so. They're like Australians 100% only like dubs. They are not subs people. We did a survey. We found it out.
Oh man, Crunchyroll actually did a survey like a couple months ago. It was on Reddit. That like, but it's not that they did a survey strictly. It's like they released some information about viewing habits, and apparently something like 40% of all people do watch in dub. Like it's huge amounts
Yeah.
on their platform,
Yeah.
and it's
I
just
get that.
the very. It's not even the vocal minority, but it's like the vocal half is just like no dubs are bad, and everyone else is just like I just like my anime. Just sit there and take
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yep. No, I get it. Dude, did I tell you I watched Your Name with my daughter?
Oh no, you didn't.
Yeah, we did. And guess what? We couldn't get it subbed for some reason.
Really?
The dub was available where we could find. I think we had to get it on YouTube. It wasn't on any friggin' streaming service I had access to. Had to get it on YouTube, and they only had the dubbed version. And my daughter was freaking out. She was like, "This sucks." And I was like, "You're my daughter. I love you so much. Like, I'm glad we're on the same page with this." But then, you know what's interesting is about halfway through, like both of us are just like, it's pretty good. It's
Yeah.
not that bad, actually.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's actually totally fine. When I go back and I rewatch Log Horizon, I have to have it in the audio because I really like that show in the English audio, and that's like how I listen to it. And the Japanese just doesn't sound right anymore.
Right. So it's just what you're used to.
It's just what I'm used to. So yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she was super pissed if the movie was going to end with the two protagonists not ever meeting again.
Right.
She was like, they're just going to go through the rest of their lives feeling like something huge is missing from them and never know what it is. I hate this movie. And I'm like, calm down. It's not over yet. Jeez. She was so mad at it. Every time they'd come close and like not actually connect, she's like, but then it works out in the end, so it's okay. So now she gave it a 9 out of 10. She really liked it. So.
Good. It's a good movie. Everyone should watch it.
It is a good one. I
love that when you search for Your Name on Crunchyroll, it has no results. Because movies, like it just shows, like searches TV shows, and you have to scroll down for movies, and it's not on the movies. But when I just Google for it, it's like, hey, you can watch it on YouTube, and you click watch on YouTube, and it goes, you have to subscribe to Crunchyroll through YouTube to watch it.
Why is it so hard? It's just an anime. Just have it on Crunchyroll. I know it's a movie and not a TV show, but it doesn't matter. Just put it on the Crunchyroll. Leave it there. Why is this so difficult? I don't know. Let me
search for Kimi no Nawa. Put it in Japanese. Nope. The only two movies it comes up with is Mobile Suit Gundam and Full Metal Alchemist.
Sure. They're like, I know what you want. How about this?
Right.
Hang on. What studio owns this movie? That's what I want to know. Your Name is distributed by Comics Wave Films. International distribution rights were previously held by Funimation, which is now part of Crunchyroll.
Distributed by Toho.
Yeah. So it's got to be the distribution that's the problem here. But if it's owned by Crunchyroll, why is it not on Crunchyroll?
Don't know. I can watch it on Amazon Prime. But
right.
I need to start a free trial of Crunchyroll.
Right.
What the fuck?
I don't know. That's really stupid.
I am like this close to buying it like a DVD player and just having a folder full of DVDs. You know.
I listen to podcasts with people who firmly believe that's the way to go.
Yeah. That
if they want a movie, they will buy the Blu-ray of it or the 4K UHD or whatever and just do that. Like screw digital.
Yeah.
Oh, like, I get it, but man.
Okay, so I searched for Crunchyroll Your Name, right, to find the actual like URL for it rather than just searching it. It's just not available in Australia for me from them. That's why. So I can add it to my watch list or VPN and probably get it. I don't think I'm going to turn my VPN on in the middle of streaming. That seems like a bad idea.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Cool. So that's that. Are you now going to sit down and watch with her silent voice?
I think that's on the list. We should do that.
Cool. That's a great movie. I like that.
Yeah. Again, movie. Let's see how we can watch this one.
Well, you can buy or rent it on YouTube. That one, at least. Rent for $4.99 Australian. Like, high definition.
Wait. Crunchyroll says no.
No?
So I Google it and it's like, Crunchyroll, watch a silent voice on Crunchyroll. Experience the latest and greatest anime. I click it and it goes, unfortunately, this show's videos aren't available.
Yep, that's what it was telling me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It's got to be YouTube. Anyways.
It's on YouTube.
All stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great show. Again, another Reddit thread that I saw. Someone was like, I went to Japan and took these photos of real life locations they used in anime, and there was a bunch of silent voice ones, like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yep. So if your daughter gets inspired, you two can take a trip and go around and see a bunch of real life places from all of her favorite shows.
Excellent. Should be good.
Yep. All right, Warhammer.
Sentenced to be a hero?
I might not be caught up.
Okay. How far did you get?
I was caught up last week. Was there a new episode this week?
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one.
Hang on. Am I caught up? Let's find out.
Undercover Investigation of Sodric 1. Is what the episode's called.
Fair enough.
So last week was like the dragon attack in the hallway. No, not a hallway.
Oh, yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And like they think that the demon lord is just inhabiting a human's body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like obviously that's what's going on, but like it's so obvious that's what's going on. It feels like that's not what's going on.
It has to be a red herring. Kind of feel like that.
Yeah. Feels that way.
Oh, do you have anything for this before? Like, did you watch it? Do you want to tell me what happened?
Hang on. I'm trying to see if I watched the latest episode or not. I think I did. So the one thing I just want to mention is that we're getting to the point where our hero, Xylo, is the object of affection for Terrorita, some weird mechanical made-up goddess that they don't know how to understand. He has an ex-wife who's like, we're getting married, sucker. And he's like, I'm a hero now. What are you talking about? He's like, we're getting married.
Ex-fiance.
And, right, but not in her eyes, he's not.
Right, but not ex-wife.
Sorry, fiance. Yeah. Yes, you're correct. And military leader lady whose name I can't remember. Like, it's all blushy whenever Xylo, like, compliments her in any way, right?
Right.
So, my daughter hates harem animes because she has good taste. And I was like, daughter, I think this is a secret harem anime. And she's like, no, this one has an actual story. I'm like, good call. But it is kind of a secret harem story a little bit.
I'm going to break, maybe you have to break the news to her. Even the shitty ones have story. They're bad stories. They're not good.
Right.
But there will often still be something of a story hanging out in them.
Right. I don't think she meant that literally, but she was like, the stories are garbage.
Yeah.
But
also, I'm going to throw this out for this show. We're 8 episodes in, and like, we're still just meeting new characters, right? This is a 12-episode season. We've spent 8 episodes being introduced to just the new characters.
Yes.
When's the actual story going to happen? Because it's not killing a demon lord. Demon lord is like usually the final boss. They kill one every 3 episodes.
No. Yeah, no. The problem is that the government and the church, which I guess are intertwined in this world, are
Uh-huh.
infiltrated by the blight. That's the problem.
Right, that's the problem. We've not really done
Yeah.
anything about that in the story, though.
No.
We've just
Nope.
been
That's
introduced
true.
to new characters, which is
Right.
means it feels like the story is, hey, we're going to introduce you to a bunch of new characters, and it's going to be a secret harem anime, uh, which makes it.
Entirely possible.
It just means it's the same as the other shows. It just has quality.
Yeah. I mean, yes. It's very similar to the concept I always talk about. If you're adapting media to a different medium, if you do it well and it's quality, nobody
Who
cares if you
cares?
change things.
Sure.
So same thing. You can have inherent anime, and if it's awesome, nobody cares.
Mhm.
And isekai, you can have an isekai story. If it's awesome, nobody cares.
Mhm.
The reason people don't like isekai is because 99% of it sucks ass. It's not the thing that is the problem. It's the fact that most of the thing is garbage. And if you do it right, then it's fine.
Yeah, no, that's totally
Yeah.
right. I'm just wondering when
Yeah.
this is going to do something that makes me confident the story will go somewhere, and then they'll stick the landing. Otherwise, episode 12 will be like, here is the fourth person who just wants to jump Sailor's bones. And we're going to kill
Right.
2 demon lords this episode.
Yeah. I am worried about that. I am worried about a fifth character. Wait, fourth character being introduced that's like, man, this Xylo guy is awesome. I want to marry him. Like, all right, guys, we're getting a little bit carried away here.
Technically, we've already had a fourth. She's just dead. It's the first goddess that he was bonded with.
Oh, that's well, yeah, we can assume.
If
I
we're
suppose.
counting Terrorita, we've got to count her.
But we've seen Terrorita interact with Xylo. We haven't seen the other goddess interact with Xylo except when she's dying.
Just in flashbacks, but like,
Because Terrorita gets jealous. She's like, hold on a second. He's mine, crazy lady. You think you're going to marry him? You got another thing coming. And I'm like, all right, Terrorita, look. First of all, you look like you're 12. Calm down. Second of all, you're not even human, probably. What's going on here exactly? It concerns me. So yeah, we don't know if the previous goddess acted like that. Maybe she was just like, you're my knight. I'm your goddess. We're friends, but I'm not going to get jealous when another woman looks at you.
maybe. But given that all we've seen is the flashbacks of how Terrorita reminds Xylo of her, like that's
Yeah.
entirely how he has characterized his relationship with her.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You're probably right. I'm just saying we haven't seen it.
You,
All right, Warhammer.
no, sorry, I wanted to interrupt with something before we get to Warhammer, which is there was like a Steam thing or like a game thing. I don't know what it is, but it's like, hey, there's a ton of new demos out for upcoming games, and there's one that's called "How Many Dudes?" ? And
There's some implications here. Uh-huh.
so the like, how many dudes would it take to fight a gorilla, right?
Right.
Or would you rather fight a one duck-sized horse or one horse-sized duck? This is a game that's just that,
yeah.
where you start off with like a random dude, and you fight, like one duck-sized horse, right?
Right.
And then you get to put up a flyer for a different kind of dude that you want. And there's like factions. I played one round or like one run, and I wound up with getting cleric dudes and paladin dudes and samurai dudes, and they all have like vaguely different abilities. But then each round you get a choice of like who you want to fight. And so it's like, do you want to fight one wolf and 3 duck-sized horses, or do you want to fight 106 toddlers?
Right. So then it gets complicated. Yeah.
It gets a little complicated, but one's usually has like a higher money value, so you know, like that one should be the harder one because you get more out of it. It is surprisingly fun. The demo is free. People should try it. That's all. It's like it's you want to watch a bunch of dudes beat a bunch of toddlers. This is your game. Yeah, that's
Somebody gamified the whole concept. That's fun.
yeah. So
I'm okay with that. I do want to say I've seen some posts recently that's like, okay, all this argument about how many people do you need to kill a gorilla? We have cave paintings of our ancestors taking down mammoths. We can handle a gorilla. Is the general concept behind that refutation?
well, yeah. Cave people hunted mammoths for a living. You don't fight
Yeah.
gorillas at all, right?
Right. Right.
I think there's a difference in skill, tactics, coordination than the average person today and the average person back then.
Oh, so I was going to say prep time, but you're saying we're not even capable of it with prep time. Like if you gave a group of like
If you
10 people a year to physically and like skillfully prepare to battle a gorilla,
right,
and you gave them spears,
just
right? You give them
spears,
caveman tools, right?
right?
Could they do it? And
Yeah,
think they could.
I think in a year anyone could learn to throw a spear, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I feel like if you hit the gorilla just right, you can probably win. But
Yeah.
from my understanding, the can a person fight a gorilla? It's not with tools like we were, or tribes when we were fighting mammoths. It's could you get into a boxing ring right now, no gloves, and beat the gorilla? And the answer is no, not one on one.
Correct. Not one-on-one.
No.
Right. Because the whole mammoth thing is that you have a whole group of people taking it down
Exactly.
and getting enough food to feed the tribe for months. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, that's the human thing. Like, we're not the best one-on-one fighters in any sense of anything, but we are the best pack hunters in the history of the planet.
We're not terrible one on one, statistically.
No, we're not the worst. Right.
I mean, I feel like we could beat most of the fish.
Certainly. And like ducks. Ducks aren't that big of a deal.
Ducks are scary though. Geese? Oh, I don't know.
No. Different thing. Geese,
God.
yes. Ducks, no.
Is it a chimpanzee or is it a monkey? Like, yeah, it's a geese.
No.
Duck.
Okay, first of all, chimpanzees way tougher to deal with than monkeys. Like, you're making some points here for me, Somicron. You're bringing up examples of things that are very different, even if they are closely related.
Okay.
Yep.
I bet I could beat a red panda.
Yeah.
It's just like a fox. It's not actually a panda. Because I think of a panda, I think of a panda bear. I'm like, I could not fight any bear. But a red panda?
It gets complicated. But yes, I agree. Humanity, not the best one-on-one fighters, not the worst one-on-one fighters either.
For sure. Do you... You reckon you could take a giraffe? Like, they're very tall.
No.
No?
Heck no. No. How would... Like, do I get weapons?
You have a club. Just wait for it to come down and try and bite you and bonk it in the face.
Well, I mean, you go after the legs, right? Because you cripple a giraffe and you're pretty much halfway there.
Right, but it has two attacks, bite and kick, and you're like getting into range of both then.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I still think going at it from distance would probably be a lot safer. In general,
for
right?
sure.
Taking anything from distance is the way to go. Give me a bow and arrow, and I can give it a go. I don't know.
Okay. All right, that's enough of murdering defenseless animals, or innocent animals. At the very least. Let's go
Very
to
good.
Warhammer.
Warhammer.
What did we read this time, Falcon?
Not a lot of defenseless animals this time.
Not
We
a lot.
read part 2 of the Fabius Bile Omnibus by Josh Reynolds.
It's true. Did we read any books in specific? Do you remember their names?
No.
We read Clone Lord.
Primogenitor.
That was
Clone
the first
Lord.
one. Yeah, Clone Lord.
Dang it,
This
so
was this one.
close. Clone Lord.
Did you read the novellas?
There was multiple. I read one.
Yeah, there would have been one after Primogenitor, and I said we should have read that last week. And then this week
yes.
we'll read the second one that's after Clone Lord.
In that case, yes. I read the 2.
Okay.
Yep.
So you read A Memory of Tarsus.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Clone Lord?
I liked it. Again, I like these books. I like the Reynolds portrayal of Fabius Bile. I think he's interesting. I think he's fun to read. I'm never like, oh, we're back in Fabius Bile's head again. I'm always like, we're back in Fabius Bile's head. He's analytical. He thinks about stuff. He's smart. He's emotional. He makes mistakes. Like, he's an interesting character.
It's
always fun.
I really enjoyed all the stuff with Fabius Bile. There was about a point where it was like 2 or 3 hours of just people talking about who's going to betray who first and whose alliance we need to be on. People talking about Fabius Bile. if I could like skim read an audiobook, boy did I do that.
Right. And that's entirely fair. When it's just Emperor's Children being like, I'm going to betray you, better do it before I get betrayed. Yeah, it's just over back and forth. And you're like, okay, guys, I get it. I get what's going on here. We can move on? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this book, Fabius gets strong-armed by the remnants of the Third Legion to go and find some hidden gene seed.
Yeah, Did we ever establish how the Emperor's Children found him?
Found the gene seed.
To capture him.
Oh.
No, to capture him at the beginning of the book.
Melusine told them. Like
right.
Eidolon's like, she told me in dreams.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, man, what a character she is, huh?
Yeah. Also, Eidolon also said that's where he found the gene seed, but we know at the end of the book that that's not true.
Right.
So maybe he was lying and she didn't tell him anything?
Well, then still.
I mean, Trazen told them.
And how do they...
Because Trazen was like, I want him in my collection. Go and get him.
Right. And so you're saying maybe Trazen has a way of tracking... Because he's been following him. He's been learning about Bile. He knows a lot about him.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. Maybe Trazen figured out where he would be and when, and that he'd be under attack and easier to capture here now. Go there and do it. You're probably right. It was probably Trazen.
Probably Trazen. Thank God Trazen turned up. Because also, by the end of the book, it's like, okay, I'm just waiting for people to betray each other and like see how this is going to go sideways. And like, yeah, there's the stuff with Fulgrim there. I'm like, is Bile going to go back and try to rebuild the Third Legion? Is he's like... totally having a moment where he's like, okay, I discarded that idea because it was dead, it was broken, and you just need to move on. But maybe there's a chance it could still work. That's still interesting. But they get to the planet, and I'm like, okay, is it going to be like a fun little jaunt into a crash ship to find some gene seed? It's like, no, it's going to be a fun little jaunt into a tomb world. Well, a Dyson sphere.
By the way, full of Necrons.
Yeah. And then a bargaining.
And Trazen the fucking Infinite. Like, not just a Dyson Sphere, not just a Tomb World, not just some Necrons. Trazen is here. It's like, oh boy. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was neat.
That was neat. Yeah, I liked it when Trazen showed up. First of all, it always bothers me, and this is going to be a problem for a long time. It always bothers me when I know what the characters are facing and they have no idea what's going on. I'm like, oh, it's Necrons. I'm waiting for someone to be like, oh shit, it's Necrons. No one says that. And I'm like, none of you guys know what a Necron is?
No.
No, not a single one. No. And I'm like, so, okay. Then my brain goes chronologically. When is this story happening? Obviously before Caiaphas Cain, because he's fought Necrons enough to know what they are. Or is it just another part of the galaxy and the Necrons are over by Caiaphas Cain and they're not here by the Eye? I don't know.
It's a bit of both. So this book, this book is pre 13th Black Crusade by Abaddon, so it's pre Cadia Shattering.
Okay,
but
that helps.
But not by much. And Cain is only like, this is I think 300 years before that. Cain is only like 50 or 60 years, so it's a little bit before Cain.
Okay.
Necrons are clearly awake, but just starting to wake up is about to just start happening, right? So, like, Trazen canonically wakes up earlier than a lot of people and goes around on, like, a collecting spree. In Infinite the Divine, he's been awake for a long time.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, the humans have this little Civil War thing going on. I guess I'll pick up a few displays, this Horus heresy. So, that was 10,000 years before this.
Right.
So he's been awake for a hot minute.
I liked it. I like when Bile's like, so who's this museum for exactly? And Trazen's like, I guess my people? But also the average person's really stupid, so I don't know. They probably won't appreciate it. And Bile's like, yeah, they are stupid, aren't they?
Right.
Oh, man. Those two together are very fun. I was so glad. I was like, this book is good. But then Trazen and Bile have these interactions. And I'm like, all right, this is a great book.
I really enjoyed their interactions.
Yeah.
I did. If you stop and think that, like, Trazen's like, I want you for my collection.
Yeah.
Um, and on the ship, the guy whose name is Flavius, very Roman
Mm.
name, he's like,
Mm.
I also want Bile, but I want his clone bodies. And everyone is
Yeah.
talking about how they want their own little pet Bile. Why can't you wake up more than one clone body at a time?
Right.
Like, why
You
can't
can. I
why?
don't think you can.
So why doesn't Bile just give everyone their own little Bile? Be like,
Because
you
he's when
you
when
get
when
one.
he offers it to Trazen, he's like, "This feels weird. I don't like this very much."
Yeah, I
Right?
get it, but he's very pragmatic. This would be a great solution. Everyone gets their own little pet um,
Yeah. But
apothecary.
yeah, no, I get that. But also there's a moment where Eidolon, I think, is quoted as saying, "We need to make sure this one dies." Like, we need to make sure he's not going to pop up somewhere else before we spawn in one that we have control over. Because
Right.
even if we have one and Bile's out there, he's still going to fuck us up, like he
Mm,
always does, right?
yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, and he doesn't. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Again, the whole question of cloning and are you you? That was really funny too. When Biles to Trazen, he's like, "So your consciousness maybe just got planted into a robot. Like, are you even you?" And Trazen's like, "Well, you've been cloned like 1,000 times. Are
Right.
you even you?" And he's like, "Touche,
Shay.
good sir."
Very funny. Uh,
I like too that. So the response is actually from Bile that he freezes up because he's like, "Holy shit, he knows."
right.
And I'm like, "So you were just gonna pretend like Trazen's this weird thing that's exactly like you and make him think that you're like a regular person? That's hilarious."
uh,
Oh man, Bile. Oh, it's good. It's good.
how did you feel about Fulgrim Reborn?
The whole time I was like, this is way too galaxy upending for Warhammer. There's no way he's gonna get out of here.
Right.
And he didn't. So
No.
there you go.
it's it's so sad that there's like a Fulgrim who's like, for genetic reasons, I remember everything old Fulgrim did, or at least a lot of it. And
Yeah.
I will definitely not make those mistakes again. Like, he's so resolved that after seeing where that path leads, he's sort of like, no. Um,
Right.
like, he feels genuine remorse over that and wants to fix the Legion, not just like have a new one. It echoes for me Magnus when he's talking to Malkador and the Emperor, where they're like, just betray the Thousand Sons. The genes, like their warp change, their flesh change is it's broken. We'll give you a new legion. And he's like, but what about my current sons? It's like, oh, Primarchs really do care deep down. Falcon, they're like, they care more about their kids than maybe the Emperor did.
I don't know, because there's a moment there where Bile looks at him and he sees the same thing that was in original Fulgrim, this desire for perfection
Mm,
that outweighs his love for his kids. Like,
right.
he wants to be perfect more than he cares about the well-being of his legion. And
Mm,
that's the inherent problem with Fulgrim, and it's there in this one too.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
I
again makes that whole decision that he makes at the end. It's great. It's great writing because it's like, first of all, I'm genetically coded to like love this guy, which
mm-hmm,
I recognize, but it's still there. Like, I
mm-hmm,
still feel it.
right. I,
And we could probably do a ton of good with it, but also it's probably not a good idea.
mm. I do really like that Fulgrim spends all this time mulling over what he's supposed to do with this like rapidly accelerating Fulgrim clone that's like growing into adolescence and then full maturity in like days instead of years. And
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know what I should do with it. I should have maybe killed it as a baby. I should have like, am I gonna just like recreate the Legion for this guy? I gotta keep him secret for now. And when he comes back, the thing that he's like most disturbed by is the fact that he did not account for the fact that his new humans, his new men, see him as a Primarch and have the same reaction that regular people did, where it's like Primarchs were made to be followed, not just by the
Yes.
legions, but by regular people. And that is not taken out of his new people, and it's like he sees
Right.
the affection that they have for him, like a leader in him as well, and it's like, nope, didn't plan for that. That's a problem.
No. Yeah, I want my new men to be independent. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want them to be beholden to a Primarch.
Yeah.
That's not what I want for them. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. I really like that.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And it is good. Because even though I was like, there's no way they're going to let Fulgrim out into the galaxy. There's
No.
no way.
No.
And they're going to ham-fistedly figure out a way to keep him from not doing that. I was like, done pretty well. Even though I saw it coming, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, trading him to Trazen for a fat stack of gene seed.
Yeah.
There are worse deals to be made.
There are. There are. So is that where this Fulgrim is? Like in universe?
I'm really
Trazen
hoping
2000?
in the upcoming Rogue Trader DLC, Trazen's Infinite Museum, we get to see a cloned Fulgrim in his little Pokeball, on display.
Oh man, that would be amazing. Yeah.
That would be chef's kiss.
They should do it. The problem is there's so much to keep track of in Warhammer that there's a decent chance the people who make it don't even know about this. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's so much other stuff to focus on of what Trazen has.
So there's a bunch of Warhammer animations. Like they have their own streaming service, Warhammer Plus, and in it there's a series that has an episode that's like, hey, some stuff in Trazen's museum gets out of their display. I think it's the Orcs. And so there's people absolutely went and dug through it and was like, if we pause it here, we can see several things on display. And it's like, here's a Thunder Warrior, here's a helmet of this other thing, and here's all this other stuff. So canonically, there's just huge amounts of what does Trazen have in there. He can have anything, so put whatever you want. And so
Right.
on the one hand,
so the options are endless.
The options are seemingly endless. You can't have Malkador, you can't have the Emperor in there. But given that you could do so much, you could do anything, it would be very easy to forget or just to not think of being should we put in fan favorite things from other stuff? Things that they would want to see, or do they have better ideas for stuff that they should show?
Come up with new ideas that people are like, wow, that's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, imagine, this is an upcoming game DLC, so I'm hoping we can interact with the museum in some level. And what if there's, an aspect where we get to free something from the museum, and it's okay, do we give the player the option to free Fulgrim? Or to free a Custodes, or a Night Lord, maybe? Or a stack Acadian Guardsman? Or, I don't know, an Inquisitor. Tons of people to choose from.
Yeah, but I mean,
again, I have no idea.
Again, you can't. You cannot release Fulgrim on the Galaxy because it changes too much.
Right, but if you do it in a game that you can always just be well, where's the game canon? Well, it's all canon.
But
it's all canon and none of it is. So.
Okay, so my question would be: is there a Warhammer game where they have introduce something that is galaxy changing and just been it's just a game? Because the games that I play, they've never done that.
No, that's fair. Space Marine 1 introduced a new captain to the Space Marines, to the Ultramarines when they already had a captain. It breaks the codex, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, galaxy
okay.
spanning.
So, probably not. The answer is probably not.
Okay.
If you take your games holistically, that if you play something like Bolt Gun, you have one Space Marine murdering 50,000 people.
Right.
And
right.
If that were true, if that were canonically accurate, it would be galaxy wide effects because you have one Space Marine who's essentially unkillable. And the Imperium could just deploy Malium Cato to any war zone and instantly win it because he's the player character,
Right. Yeah, you just be able to send Space Marines to conflicts by themselves and clean it up.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we've talked about how there are like 3 different ways to handle Tyranids fairly easily introduced in some books we've read last year.
Sure.
So I mean, yeah, books, I feel like they're more willing to do this.
I
Games less so.
I feel like we disagree on what counts as a galaxy-wide affecting event. I don't consider killing a couple Tyranids as something that can really upend the galaxy, like waking the Emperor up.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
But yes, but I mean, it would change the galaxy. It wouldn't change it as much as the Emperor waking up, but it would change the galaxy.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we read the Eldar book where it's like, and then they killed all of High Fleet Behemoth or whatever, right? Or High Fleet
Right.
Leviathan. That technically is like riding an entire High Fleet out of the game. That is
Yep.
effectively the something that changes the fundamental state. Like there's an entire High Fleet that's just gone now because the Eldar took care of them.
Right.
I think
Are
that
there Tyranid players who identify specifically with a specific hive fleet?
yeah, because you can paint them their colors. Yeah, sure you can.
Okay.
It'd be like
So yeah.
it's the equivalent of being like, and now the Imperial fists are written out of Warhammer because they all died.
Right. Right. Huge deal.
Yeah,
Definitely.
huge deal.
Interesting.
But Hive fleets, like they can say that in a book, but then you just go, well, maybe they didn't get all of them. Oh well.
Yeah. Totally.
If someone else includes them, like retconning that in your head is not very difficult. Whereas
No.
I get
Emperor's
it.
back.
The Emperor's
Good luck.
back. I get it is for you though when they say like, oh, this Inquisitor found a surefire way to kill an entire Hive fleet tendril in 45 seconds in this one book.
Sure did.
The fact that he's not sharing it is a problem for you, and that's fine. That's a totally valid interpretation of the text. I just think books are more happy to be loosey-goosey about that actually being viable and
Mm-hmm.
having the same kind of consequences as, like, riding out the Hive Fleet entirely.
They sure are.
They sure
You're
are.
not wrong.
It's great. What a wonderful, consistent world.
Yeah.
Okay, so a memory of Tarsus.
Oh,
Did
could we
you
go
have,
back a little bit?
Yeah, if you have something else, I didn't really have much more. I mean, a little bit.
I just want to say it was kind of interesting when the world leader was like, "All right, time to let loose." He's
Right.
like, "I haven't done this in
Yeah.
a real long time. I've really kept this under control,
Mhm.
very consciously for many thousands of years, but
Uh-huh.
okay, like,
Oh,
I'll murder 10 emperor's children by myself. Sounds like a good time."
sounds fun. How do you
Yeah.
feel about the conversations Bile was having with his demonologist, where it's like, I'm not going to tell you what I think. We're going to come back and argue about this because you're going to think about it for a little bit, and then you're going to go away and think about
Yeah.
it, and then we're going to come back and argue. And
Yeah.
from his perspective, Fabius is a kind of minor god, and he's like, that's kind of heretical, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Pater mutatis, right? You're
Right,
the
right.
You are the patron god of all mutants.
Right. Right.
So Fabius as a minor warp entity confirmed?
Yes, I think so. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Even if he would not agree with the sentiment.
No,
No.
he certainly wouldn't.
No. What else? Diomet got to die after he decided he didn't want to die. The timing was kind of tough for him.
Kind of. I mean,
He spends like thousands of years being like,
I want
my legion went heretical. Fuck you guys. And like they keep him trapped in a freaking dreadnought suit
Mhm.
and like purposely keep him alive
Uh-huh.
because he doesn't want to be alive. And then after 10,000 years of this, he's like, you know what? Maybe we can bring back the Legion the way it was. Maybe that's awesome. Let's do that. And then 10 minutes later, he's dead.
Right.
Like, tough.
Yeah, he does. He does still at the end scream for Fabius, being like, "Remember your promise. You promised I could die when I want, and like I want to die now."
Yes.
So he still wanted
Yes.
to die.
Yeah.
But he died with hope that they could rebuild the Legion.
He did.
That's all
That's
he
true.
wanted. He just wanted hope, and then that hope was sold for sperm 20 minutes later.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I mean, Fabius was like, I could keep him alive. He would be super pissed off. It would
Right.
not be fun for him,
Uh-huh.
but I could. I'm like, oh man, Bile, come
Right.
on. He's been through enough already.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that leads me to the question of, so Fabius is like, we'd like to bring back the Legion. We got all this genes, this pure gene seed. We can do this.
Kind of. It remains to be clear whether or not he takes the gene seed back to Eidolon to do that, or whether or not he's
He
just.
doesn't, well, either way, he just does it himself. Like,
Well, yeah, but we already know he doesn't want to lead a new legion, right? That was much of
that was my question.
like,
That was my question.
what's he gonna do with all this
He
gene
doesn't want to
seed?
lead it. He doesn't want Fulgrim to lead it.
So I think
So, like,
what I think the new men, the Glandhounds, they need gene seed to be made at the moment. Like he's able to swell their numbers. I don't think he's using that gene seed to make Space Marines. He's using it to make new people.
oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I-
Which, okay. So just in his pursuit of perfection for his new men, that's the next step.
Presumably, I don't know. We got a whole nother book to
Okay.
tell us what he's gonna do with all that gene seed.
We do. We do have a whole nother book.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Let's go to what Falcon marked up in this
Oh
book.
yeah,
How
any
about we do that?
highlights?
Yeah. Let's see. Annotations. Here we go. Man, there are a few of them.
Yeah.
Oh no, some of these are going back to the other book though. Hold on a second. Tell me which book this is in.
It's in the Omnibus. Thanks.
Yeah. So when he's like working with the Harlequins and talking to them, and they're trying to be like, "You need to do what we want you to do," and he's like, "No, fuck you." And eventually, this line here goes: first, he must see he cannot go forward and he cannot go back. He cannot escape into the past, and the future he desires will never come to pass. He can only follow the path around and around. And I said, that is the perfect way to describe every goddamn character in Warhammer. They can't really progress that far. They can't go backwards either. They're just stuck in whatever the situation is in Warhammer because changing it too much is bad and they can't do it. Right?
Yeah. No, you're spot on. I mean,
so that's they're just being meta. They're like, I understand what's happening here. The Harlequins are totally understanding of the Warhammer universe. I thought that was interesting.
yeah, a little bit. That is meta. It is also specific to certain people more than others. Like, trying to find a good example, because like, okay, in Memory of Tarsus, that's probably still a bad example. The lady is like, I don't care about Mars. I just want to do my function, and that's build tanks, for Chaos Space Marines. Like the steps that she's going through to fulfill her function is totally moving forward, right? But then he gives her a memory of Mars as it was, and she's like, "Thank you, it's beautiful," and cries. So she's clearly very happy to go back to the past. But like Abaddon, he's building something entirely new. That's the Black Legion. He is pushing it forward. He split the galaxy in half. That's new. Like, he's very specifically not interested in going to the past. So while it is technically true that nobody can go anywhere because the setting needs to be a sandbox that doesn't truly evolve in a lot of meaningful ways, I think it's more relevant to phrase to some characters than others,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But especially Bile.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks for him because like all he wants to do is like complete his work and he's not going to be allowed to because he can't.
Because he can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
There's a great scene where Merrick's is like getting talked to by what he thinks are demons, or like maybe it's the Harlequins being like, the future needs to happen this way, dude. And he's kind of like interrupting as Flavius and Bile are talking to each other. And Fabius goes, "You look ill, Merrick. Is something amiss?" Then he paused. Something new, I should say, because he's always looks like he's dying.
Right.
And then Merrick goes, "I'm fine. Was the demon afraid of the chief of apothecary? If so, it was wiser than most Neverborn he'd encountered." And then Fabius goes, "Well, if you're dying, please do so quietly. Fabius and I are discussing strategy." It's very Emperor's Children to be like, we're talking about strategy. It's really important right now.
I really liked the character of the Plague Marine who was like, I want to be a good apothecary. I'm going to go study with Fabius. And it's entirely so he can make more like virulent plagues. And he's like, I get to test them against the Newmen. And then Fabius is like, well, then I get to find out more and more ways to like inoculate people against it. This is a win-win for everyone. He has this weird little demon that he keeps in like a jar, and he's like, okay, monkey, time to come out and bite people, and that inoculates them against the plagues it's carrying. It's so weird. I love it.
That's it's very Nurgle. It's good.
Yeah,
that's funny stuff. I like that they're down there getting chased by Necrons, and Fabius is like, "You got anything for these guys?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, but like we better put some distance between us and them before we do." So he's got stuff that can kill Necrons, but not all of them. And then Fabius is like, "What's the next level up from this?" And he's like, "Well, destroying the whole Dyson sphere with us on it." And he's like, "All right, that's probably not going to work very well."
That's not great.
Yeah. No, but pretty impressive. He's got that ability anyway.
Yeah. What's a little exterminatus amongst friends?
Yeah. Another thing is, over the centuries, Fabius had populated frontier worlds with his new men, safely spinward from the core of the Imperium, hidden from the eyes of those that might do them harm. So again, for something that can never really be complete, for something that can't happen because it changes stuff too much, like you didn't have to do that from a writing perspective, right? You could have just been like, Fabius has his new men on his ship, or a couple places he's got them hidden. But like to have them seated across a ton of worlds in the galaxy is like, well, why are you going up to the step of new men are everywhere, new men are conquering, new men are the future, and you can't take that next step, you know?
I'll give you two pretty okay reasons. The first is you can be like, well, maybe they're a gene sealer, or maybe they're one of Fabius's new men. Whenever there's a random human who's like slightly too good at stuff and he's like hiding out and trying to like spread his genes, it's the same kind of effect, right?
Okay.
The second answer, which I think is maybe better, is that Josh Reynolds had plans and now he doesn't work for Games Workshop and isn't writing those books that where we get them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's kind of fun.
Alrighty.
And then, the last thing, the random chapter that we meet.
Oh,
the random loyalist chapter we meet for like 10 minutes.
Red Scimitars.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're kind of neat. They refer to their captains as kings or Shishans.
Right. I was like, okay, fair enough. They write their deeds upon their battle plate.
In poetry, yeah.
Yeah.
And there may be a chimeric chapter. Like, Bile's looking at his gene seed and is like, is it looks like it's a mix of two. What could it be?
Right.
I wish I had time to figure it out.
I think he even maybe implies it's more than two.
Yeah.
He's like, there's kind of a bunch of stuff in here. Yeah. Yeah, so that was fun. I do like that the OG Space Marines, right, from the Heresy are like, these new Space Marines suck ass. They're terrible. And then, they kick their ass and all of them die. And it's like, yep, fair enough, I guess.
There's tons of references to old Space Marines being like, new Thin Bloods, right? You guys suck. Or these new ones that don't have the training that, like, only comes from, like, fighting in a crusade or the Great Crusade could do. To the point where there are also a ton of books, and we've read a couple where they're like, Chaos Space Marines will have a new Space Marine made out of new Space Marine gene seed, and we'll basically bully him for being the Thin Blood, even though they're like on
Yep.
the same side. It's like, let's make fun of the new guy, the FNG. you know?
Yeah, totally what's going on.
Yeah. Um,
So and it gets supported though. It gets supported in the narrative of
yeah.
these dudes are like, we're awesome. We're new Space Marines. Let's get the stupid old creaky Chaos Marines that suck. And then they get their heads handed to them, literally in a lot of circumstances.
Yeah.
So is that just generally how it works? Like, are
I
OG Space Marine groups and chapters just way better than the new stuff?
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
it's canon strictly that they're better. Like when Flavius has to fight one of them, and he's
Yeah.
like trying to do perfect swordsman thing, and he's like, this guy's fighting with every inch of his body. He's like deflecting blows with his forearms and his head and stuff, and like to the point where he gets backed out and into through where the boarding torpedo came from. Like on a one-on-one
Right.
fight, they're not the same. Like they're on a one-on-one fight, they're basically the same. Like they both hold their ground for a while, right? And then individual skill maybe wins out. But they did also board a ship filled with new men who are designed and built to take down Space Marines in packs.
True. That is true.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of other references for this lot of Space Marines. I'm looking on the Lexicanum,
No.
and there's three
I was gonna
sources.
say they feel like one-offs.
There-
Yeah.
There are three sources for them. One of these is Clone Lord, and two of them are like background books. Yeah. Not like one's Battle Missions, which is just it's a book for 5th edition, so it's a while ago. It's 2010. It provides rules for 33 new scenarios, 3 missions for each of the 10 main races. So it's not like a lore book. It's just like, hey, there was a fight between the Red Scimitars and the Necrons or whatever in this mission. Here's how you play that if you wanted to, you know?
Right.
So this is like their first narrative outing by the looks of it.
Yeah, and they get their asses kicked. It's like nobody's gonna paint that. Nobody's gonna paint their Space Marines to be like the Red Scimitars.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even have pitches on their Lexicanum page. Like,
Oh man.
yeah. So
Yeah, it's tough. It's just an interesting choice to put them in here. Then
well, yeah, it's an interesting choice, but I think it's just the more interesting choice is that they just didn't want to like bully an established chapter or whatever. It's like, I don't want to put the Ultramarines in here because the Ultramarines are everywhere. I don't want to put the Imperial Fists because like I just want like the Imperium's supposed to be big, and we just hear about the same like 30 chapters over and over again. Let's just write someone new.
Yeah.
I feel like that's better.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying you could have brought in maybe a bit more well-known chapter and just have them kind of hold up a little bit better instead of just like all of them are dead. We've got a captured one.
Well, yeah, again, from what I understand from the book, that they were engaged with a bunch of orcs, spotted this one ship warp in when it wasn't supposed to, and only one of their ships went engaged.
Yeah.
So, like...
So it's one ship versus one ship.
Right. But this being a ship in the Eastern Fringe means it's probably more Codex compliant, given its relationship with its neighbors, like around the Ultramarines, right? I have a feeling. So how many Space Marines are on this one ship? Okay, if this is one company, they have 100. We know that this that Bile had more than 100 Space Marines, and that's before Eidolon's detachment joined them as well. So it's like, okay, they got boarded. We're outnumbered 3-1 just on Space Marines, and then include the Glandhounds. And it's like, oh, okay, they got bullied. Is it because they suck? Or is it because they took a bad fight not knowing who was on the ship?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely part of it, certainly. But remember, they talk about later, the Glandhounds aren't good at straight up fighting. They're good at, like, stalking and picking off Marines one by one. And if you've got, a group of 5 against 5 in a straight up battle, then they're not going to do super well.
Right. But still, if all of the Red Scimitars are, like, engaging with more than equal numbers of regular Space Marines, and we know the Glandhounds will die in 5v1s, but will happily take that trade, because to them that's an absolute victory. And they outnumber them even more, than other space marines do. Like, it makes sense that they just all die.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Probably never see them again.
Oh, no. Never.
Never anywhere.
No. I doubt we'll even go to that region of space ever again.
Very specific region. Where Trazen has a museum, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Were we on Trazen's museum or were we just on a Necron world? Those are two different questions.
Ah. Well, I mean, there's museum stuff in there, though.
Yeah, it's true. He could have multiple little museums. It's just I know that his world is called Solemnus. I don't know. I know that is on the Eastern Fringe. No, it's Ultima Segmentum. It all checks out.
That's probably it.
It's probably it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I'm good.
Cool. We done with the book then? Do we need to talk about A Memory of Tharsis? I think I covered everything.
Yeah, not really, no.
Trazen's enemies bribed a new Mechanicum lady to, like, take him prisoner. We'll, reward you later. And she was like, oh, maybe. But maybe I'll just kill him for not bringing me a gift when he needs something. Oh, right. Well, I mean, it is kind of important to mention that he gets... At the end of Clone Lord, he gets a data spike from a Drukhari. He's like, here's a gift. It's a data spike. Ha ha ha. Like, the roles are over now. We just go away. You can't kill me because we're not part of the same story anymore. Then
right.
the Harlequins have whatever they want, ostensibly. Like, they were able to put Bile in a mindset and a place to do the thing that they wanted. So
guess
they're just piecing out, and here's a last parting gift of this flash drive.
Isn't it a map?
I thought it was a data spike, right? And then
it is a data spike.
And then in Memory of Tarsus, he's like, "Here's a data spike." I thought that was what it was.
I think that's a different thing. I think it's a different data spike.
That's
because he looks at it, and isn't it a map of the warp gates?
Oh yes, no, you're right. I entirely forgot that it's a map. It's a map of the webway leading to Kamara. I entirely forgot that.
Yeah, there you go.
I read the ending of this book and then that short story back to back. So I'm like, okay,
me too.
It's a data spike, and then the next book, it's like, here's a data spike. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a weird thing for a Drukhari to have. Not a Drukhari, a Harlequin, but sure.
Yeah. And me too. I was like, is it this? What? Huh?
Yeah.
Is it the same one? Nope. Entirely different data spike. Different flash drive.
Different flash drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
do you think you really? So here's the thing about the Harlequins and the Eldar in general. You really think they were happy about the position that Bile's in at the end of the book?
Yes, I think they're happy that a reborn Primarch is not leading with a fresh cache of pure gene seed. A reborn legion. I think they are happy with that.
You think that was what they were striving so hard to prevent from occurring?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Interesting.
I think a lot of like the scheming and stuff that Eidolon and Fabius do really reinforce just how broken the Legion is, and like he only ended up in those positions because the Harlequins put him there. And so, like, obviously, I don't know how much prophecy Harlequins do, like the regular Eldar, but, like, it's very common that trying to prevent a thing also causes it. And so it's like, okay.
Yes.
Well,
all the time.
We don't want him to have this Fulgrim, but our actions also pushed him back to Canticle City or whatever, where he finds Fulgrim,
Right.
That just kind of like balances for me in a very nice way.
Okay, I can see that.
That's what I think. I mean, there's another book. Maybe they aren't done. They come back and like, we really wanted this,
Yeah.
And I will eat my words, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right. So, hold on. I have a thing. The Omnibus, if I recall correctly, is the next thing in order is actually a light of a crystal sun before Manflayer, the next novel. So it will go short story, then book for next week.
That's what I'm seeing. Yep.
So I need to read that first before I can start the audiobook.
Right on.
Yep.
Good plan.
Cool. Let's wrap it up. Put a bow on it.
Okay. Sounds great. It is time. Hour and 41 minutes of pod. Good stuff. All right. So that's going to be it from us. This has been Somicron and Falcon Paladin, another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour, streamed live here at twitch.tv/Somicron every single gosh darn week. VODs are available at youtube.com/@Somicron. You could support the pod directly at patreon.com/Somicron, and by, you can sub here with your Prime membership on Twitch. You can just do a regular membership, or I guess subscription here as well at twitch.tv/Somicron. You can gift stuff, you can throw bits, whatever you need to do. You can also go to get some merch at falconpaladin.store, and that's going to be it. So again, we'll be back next week about this time with more of the same thing. You can read it with us. Yes, and thanks for the support from viewers like